My name is Rick Tischaefer. I'm the president of the North Dakota Fur Hunters and Trappers Association. Thanks for visiting us today. Today we're going to demonstrate how to make a beaver board and how to apply the pattern, the oval pattern to that beaver board for the proper stretch on your beaver pelts. We're going to start out with the board. Ideally, you want 3/4 inch plywood, 5 ply or better. 5 ply or better makes sure that you don't get any warpage to it. If you go with 5/8, you can do it with 1/2 inch or 5/8 plywood, but you're going to get a lot of warping that occurs as that pelt dries. That board's going to get a nice curve to it. 3/4 of an inch is about where you need to be. And what you end up doing is taking a 4x8 sheet and cutting those boards at 32 inches. So you'll basically get 3 beaver boards out of one 4x8 sheet of plywood. Preferably on your plywood, take a look at those sheets and make sure there isn't any knot holes or openings in that top veneer of that sheet of plywood. If there is, that's okay. You just need to buy some putty and fill those cavities in, because when you stretch and dry a beaver pelt on that board, those marks will actually show up on the hair side of that pelt. So you want to make sure that the surface that you apply that pelt to doesn't have any deviations to it or any cavities. So this particular board that we made, it's 32 inches wide. We've painted it white. You can use a latex paint. You can use oil base if you want. Latex dries faster, takes 2 coats. Do the edges. What will happen is, by protecting that fresh wood, all the oils and stuff that come from that beaver or the fleshy material and things like that won't soak into the wood. And actually, we draw the pattern with a black magic marker. And if you did that to fresh wood that's not protected, eventually that black magic marker is absorbed by the wood, and that pattern gets lighter and lighter and lighter, and then after a few years you won't even see it anymore. You have to redo it. So we put a good coat of paint on this board, and we're going to protect it. It's going to last for many, many, many years. So what we're going to do is we're going to apply our pattern to it. Beavers aren't stretched round, they're stretched oval. The reason they're oval is because it takes advantage of the shape of that beaver. All right, so 32 inches wide, 4 feet tall. So we're going to find the centers. So we'll have a center at 24 inches. 24 inches on this side. We're just putting a pencil mark in there. And on the top side, we'll put a mark at 16 because that's half of 32. And at the bottom, we're going to do the same thing. So once we've got our marks in place, what we'll do is draw a line and basically draw a set of crosshairs on our board. So I line up my marks. I'm going to go ahead and draw crosshairs on there. And I'll do the same thing to the width. All right. The next thing we're going to do, and these are available at the Trappers Association. We maintain a set of these for you to use. These are basically templates, so that all you do is apply the appropriate lines to the crosshairs that are on the board and just trace the outline. That gives you your series of circles or your oval pattern that you need for boarding your beaver. So we'll start out with the small one, and we just line up our crosshairs that are on the template with the crosshairs on the board, and we just trace around it. That's one circle. Now these other patterns, when we designed this template, we designed it so that you could take advantage of the inner and the outer circle. So we line up our crosshairs, we do our inner circle, and then do our outer circle. There's going to be a series of 7 rings. When you're all done, there should be 7 rings that you would follow when you're stretching your beaver pelt on this board. And these rings are just to serve as a guide. Again, just take advantage of that beaver in the way it is shaped. Kind of an industry standard that these are done in an oval and not in a circle. Do the inner ring. And do the outer ring. These rings that you use as a guide do not correspond to any size or grade given to those beaver pelts. It is only a template and a pattern by which to shape it. A beaver on a certain ring, is that going to amount to an extra large or a large beaver type of thing? It does not. It's for your use. Nailing out that beaver pelt so that the pattern corresponds with the industry standard. Inner and outer rings on our last template. That'll give us our 7 rings that I use to stretch that beaver hide. What's nice about 3/4 inch board and the fact that you paint it and you get it all set up, you can do the same thing and apply this template to the reverse side. You can actually board 2 beaver at the same time with this plywood. We put the template on the other side. All you have to do is when you nail out a beaver pelt on this side, you need to make yourself a little 2x4 structure that this board can sit on so that there is a gap in the center to make up the difference for your nails and stuff that you did on the first one. But yeah, you can flip it right over and use the other side. Do 2 beaver pelts at one time. If you got any questions, don't hesitate to contact us. Thanks for visiting today.